Hi guys, Bran here, and welcome to another commentary video. By the way, I'm changing up the background just as a test, just as a little experiment, just to see. I figured it'd be fun if I actually went to maps and stuff, actually inside the game, because previously we always did the just the main menu background with survivors down below where the B footage rolls. That's really cool. I like that, but it's a little blurry because I have to zoom way in to make that work. So it looks kind of blurry and disgusting sometimes, so I'm just kind of switching it up and seeing if it this looks better. If it doesn't, just let me know, and you were go back to the campfire. That's totally fine. It's totally fine. Just let me know, because I'm just messing with stuff, just trying new things. But today's video is about whataboutism in DBD. And you may think, wait, this video has already happened before, and you're right, because this is a redo. This is a redo of a video that happened in July of 2020, and that I recently watched. This is Scott Jones' whataboutism video, and it's because I've experienced a lot of whataboutism lately in the DBD community, and I think this is really stunning and daunting because this video is 2 years. It's going to be 2 years old in 2 months. This video is going to be 2 years old in 2 months. So a video that came out in July of 2020 is still relevant in May of 2022. That shows just how much this problem is a big deal and continues to persist in the Dead by Daylight community. If a video that's literally about to be 2 years old is still prevalent in today's DBD community. So if you're confused up until this point, I'm saying whataboutism, you have no idea what I'm talking about. Well, TLDR, that means when someone brings up a concern with an issue, instead of discussing that issue, they try to switch the topic and bring up new concerns because they don't have a good argument for the other one, and they want to bring up their own personal distresses and concerns about something else as an opposition to what you said. For example, we had a situation on stream, I believe 2 or 3 days ago, where we had someone come in and do stream, and they were a first-time chatter. The first thing they say to me is, how do you feel about Dead Hard? And I'm honest with them. I look at them and I say, it's one of the strongest survivor perks in the game. I wish it had some sort of prerequisite or at least some sort of rework in some capacity. That way it didn't feel so free for something so powerful. And their first response to what I said had nothing to do with Dead Hard at all. They said, and I quote, well, what about NOED then? How are these related? They're not at all. These NOED and Dead Hard are completely different perks with completely different problems. Are they similar in the fact that they're both second chance perks? Yes, and that's why I say to this person, yeah, I wish NOED also had some sort of prerequisite too, because No Way Out is a perfectly designed endgame perk that's really awesome because it's a reward for not tunneling throughout the match that rewards you later in the match. And of course, this person has nothing to say when I agree with them about NOED probably also needing a prerequisite. They have nothing to say. They didn't care about the fact that I completely agreed with them with that. They just wanted to complain about my viewpoint on Dead Hard. They had no way to argue my point that Dead Hard was a second chance perk that was kind of obnoxious. They just could only bring up killer instances of killer perks that also bring second chances. And even when I agreed that second chance perks in general, no matter what side they are frustrating, they didn't want to argue that. They just wanted to keep attacking the fact that I didn't like Dead Hard. It didn't matter to them because they didn't have any way to argue what I said. They just only wanted to switch the narrative, switch to a different issue that they could argue, that they could actually argue, because any of their points that they had on hand, they were not able to counter what I said, so they just had to switch the topic. So it almost completely just deflated their entire argument when I just said, yeah, no, it is kind of annoying. I wish it also had a prerequisite. They just didn't know what to do. So they just kept whining. They just had nothing to say. They just kept being aggressive from that point on. And it's this is whataboutism at its finest. They did not want to discuss Dead Hard because they didn't know how to. So they just said, NOED. And when I didn't take the bait, when I was like, yeah, NOED sucks too, they just didn't know what to say. They just didn't have anything to do. And you may be thinking wow, that guy's dumb, or this guy's stupid, or whatever. And it's yes, but also no, because the pain of whataboutism comes from a place of sincerity and personal experience. This person has probably had plenty of situations where they used Dead Hard incorrectly or just weren't in a good place for it. So Dead Harding into a wall, not being able to reach a loop with Dead Hard, Dead Harding and get caught by a nurse, getting exhausted on the floor, and they say, well, Dead Hard can't possibly be top 3 perks in the game because I've had so many bad experiences with it. And on the flip side, they've probably had a lot of tremendous negative experiences with NOED. They've probably had a lot of situations that turn from a 3-man or a 4-man escape into a 2 to 4K because of a single perk that the killer didn't earn. So these personal experiences, it gives them a shred of truth that they want to hold on to because it's something that they feel personally attached to because they've personally experienced it. But that does bring me full circle to the fact that these experiences are personal. They aren't fact, and people use them as facts, especially when trying to divert the topic using the tactic of whataboutism. This becomes one of the biggest barriers in DBD for when it comes to actually like increasing the health and safety of the game, because things can be dumb or broken or unfair on both sides at the exact same time. I know, wild concept. Things can be mutually stupid on both sides and unfun to face on both sides. But because of the biases that are held by the community, we'll never be able to really truly move forward and push to get these things changed, because these personal experiences mean so much to these people that they would so much rather switch topics and do it in an accusatory, very argumentative manner, instead of moving the game's health forward for everyone, moving the game's health forward for literally everyone because of their personal experiences that they believe in matter more than what could possibly be the truth of the matter. They can't see the big picture. They can't see the forest through the trees. They're so obsessed in the way that their world has been painted that they can't see that other people are living in it. So what can we do? Well, we try to acknowledge that pain happens on both sides of the game. Acknowledge that a shred of truth exists in the worries and concerns that people bring up. But, and this is a big but, keep people focused on the topic at hand. Try to guide people away from this idea of shifting the topic somewhere else. Challenge them. Say, what does that have to do with what we're talking about? That's a completely different topic. And that's what I said to that guy when he said, oh, well, how do you feel about Dead Hard? And I said, well, I don't really like Dead Hard that much. And they said, what about NOED? I said, I agree with you, but I don't understand at all what that has to do with what we're talking about. We were talking about Dead Hard. NOED is a completely different perk. Challenge them. Say, why did you bring that up? That's not what we were talking about. We can have a separate conversation about that, but these aren't related. Try to keep them zeroed in on the original issue, because that still needs addressing. That still needs to be tackled. Say things like, yeah, that's an issue too, but we're talking about this. We're talking about this at the moment. So keep focused, because that's something that we have a very hard time getting around. And it's one of those things that if you challenge them with that and you stick them with that, they have no choice but kind of just accept the fact that they're talking about something completely different. And if they continue to give you gruff, like in that example that I have listed that happened on stream, yeah, they kind of just make a fool out of themselves, and they kind of invalidate their points if they decide to keep pursuing that. That's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this helps you out there in the DVD community, help you kind of highlight issues and raise awareness of an issue that I believe happens and is still persisting, and hopefully have a better mentality when it comes to handling it. Other than that, I don't have anything else for you, but I do upload daily, so hopefully I will see you tomorrow, friends. And if I don't, I will see you when I see you. Goodbye.